Hello, welcome back to Crushing Sound. My name is Chris. Only a couple of days to go now till Bloodstock, so of course I needed to bring you our annual lineup video. As I alluded to in the guide video, I'm going to Bloodstock solo this year, so without my brother Mike and our buddy Ruben, who would normally join me for this video. Truth be told, I recorded this yesterday. I did a version of this yesterday, but frankly I think I can do a better job. It was rambly, I forgot half of what I was talking about, it went on for ages. I'm not going to say this won't be rambly as well, but I figured let's do another take, see if I can do a little bit better. Plus, I tried to do like a split screen kind of thing where I've got me on the screen and the Bloodstock lineup on another screen. I'm not going to bother with that because that was just such a headache, and I want to get this out. So it's literally going to be me in the camera looking over here at my notes and the lineup. So get up your lineup and your Clash Finder. Follow along with everything I have to say. Obviously, I won't be talking about every single band. This is just going to be me talking about all the bands that I'm excited for at Bloodstock and bands that I recommend you get excited for at Bloodstock as well. Also, when I recorded this yesterday, the Clash Finder wasn't released yet. It is now up, so that's useful. I can refer to which bands might be clashing, so if I have a preference for one or the other, I can let you know that also. So let's dive right in. As always at Bloodstock, we start on the Thursday. However, this year, for the first time, and apparently only time, at least for a long time, the Thursday main stage will be open and we'll have some bands playing. So I'll start with the main stage and then I'll work my way down the various stages. So Thursday, obviously go see Heavysaurus. I mean, why wouldn't you go see Heavysaurus? I mean, okay, I know they're marketed more towards kids, but it's just ridiculous in a way that only heavy metal can get away with, in my opinion. So absolutely go see that. And obviously Bloodstock has a tradition of loving dinosaurs for some reason. So yeah, obviously go see Heavysaurus. That's going to be great. Evil Scarecrow, Bloodstock mainstays, effectively Bloodstock's house band at this point. They did a great job closing the Sophie stage. I think that was the last time they played, but they're best suited for the main stage at Bloodstock, so more than deserving to be here on the big party night of Bloodstock, back on that main stage. But then of course headlining on the Thursday is Saxon. Now, those of you who have watched this channel will know I'm not the biggest knowledge base when it comes to classic metal, so most of Saxon's music has sort of passed me by. I couldn't really name you a lot of their stuff. However, this is just pitch perfect booking. 25th anniversary of the festival, and Saxon, I believe they were the very first headliner, if I've got that correct. Certainly very long established legacy act for Bloodstock. I know they've played a bunch of times over the years, but to come back to actually headline the main stage once more on this 25th anniversary is absolutely brilliant. So even though I don't know a lot of Saxon, I'm definitely going to check this out just for the history and the nostalgia for everyone, and it being a very big moment for my favourite festival. So absolutely going to be there for Saxon. Moving down onto the Sophie stage, because they have Thursday bands as always. Mantis defeats Jaguar, I'm pretty sure were a New Blood band last year, because Bloodstock like to take a New Blood band from a year and bring them forward to play the Sophie stage on the Thursday the following year. I do believe that's the case with Mantis defeats Jaguar, who I haven't heard, but I am reliably informed are excellent. So if I can catch them, although according to the Clash Finder, they clash right in the middle with Heavysaurus. Mantis defeats Jaguar start, and then about 10 minutes later, Heavysaurus start. I'm not going to profess to know how managing and booking and organising a festival goes, but why not have Mantis defeats Jaguar start literally 20-30 minutes earlier? Then you can have a back and forth between the two stages. That just seems the most obvious to me, but is what it is. So I'll probably be at Heavysaurus, I'm afraid, but if you don't want to see that ridiculous dinosaur thing, definitely go support Mantis vs Jaguar. It's a big deal for them, I'm sure, to be invited back to Bloodstock. And so to be honest, when I do these videos, I don't like to do, avoid this band, they're shit. I hate doing that, because I'm sure the bands I don't like very much, some people are going to be really, really excited for them, and I don't want to piss on your bonfire. But I'll make an exception here. is anyone excited for the hell? They went away for a while, didn't they? And now they're back, and they were fucking awful when they were when they were around the first time. So I don't know, maybe they're better. That's more out of curiosity. Sorry if you're excited for the hell. If you are, let me know. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm happy to hear it, but I'm probably avoiding this one. Sorry, I don't know much about Black Spiders, I'm afraid. But closing out the Thursday on the Sophie is the mighty Cryptopsy. That is absolutely awesome. I am super fucking stoked for that. Death metal royalty. Yes, I know the lineup changes haven't been to everyone's cup of tea, but as far as I'm aware, they're doing some legacy stuff on this current tour. They're just legends, these guys, and it's just such important music to the genre they come from. So absolutely definitely going to see Cryptopsy. They are playing as soon as Saxon finish. So I was right in my assumption on the guide video, at least, that the Sophie headliner would be after the Ronnie headliner on the Thursday. I was just wrong about the fact that I figured the Ronnie bands would start later. It is what it is. But that Thursday, I think, is going to be so much fun. It's more bands than ever to see, and bands all over the spectrum, basically. So Thursday is going to be sweet. Cool, so moving on to the main event, so to speak. As I said, I'll do each stage in order, starting from the main stage, but I'll start from the bottom of each stage and work my way up of bands that I am excited for and wanted to see. I'm going to start with Battlesnake, though. I don't know a lot about them, but I've heard a lot of buzz about them. Apparently they're just absolutely bonkers, so I don't know, maybe that would be a fun way to start the weekend. But another fun way to start the weekend, of course, is with Party Cannon. I want to know who on the Bloodstock admin side put their logo in black and white on the website and not coloured. That's just Party Cannon rule 101. You put it in colour, but whatever. So to be honest, I saw Party Cannon in 2022 before the Machine Head secret set, and to be honest, this kind of deliberately ridiculous slamming thing, I can normally enjoy it for about 10 minutes and then I'm kind of done. It kind of just starts to wash over my head after a little while. However, Party Cannon have promised they're bringing an absolutely stupid live show to this. They're attempting to break several world records in one set, so I need to go see what they've got up their sleeve, basically. I think this could be a ridiculously fun show, so... And, you know, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a huge turnout there. Lots of people love this kind of ridiculous thing. There'll be inflatables galore. It's just going to be a riot. Yeah, can't wait to see it. Skinned. I like Skinned. Sorry. I love Skinned. Okay, maybe you could argue they're not a metal band, but they're dark, they're creepy, it's alternative as fuck. I love the attention to detail in the subject matter that they're drawing from. I just love the vibe, I love the atmosphere, and it's just so cool. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it as much in the sun, because last time they played late on the Thursday in the Sophie tent, so it was in darkness, which I think is how this should be done. But, you know, still going to enjoy the hell out of the performance and the music, so I cannot personally wait for that one. Fit for an autopsy, obviously. Just again, much like Cryptopsy, just savage, awesome, brilliant. That's going to be absolutely carnage. Cannot wait. Biohazard, that's going to be awesome. Obviously, they're kind of Bloodstock royalty at this point, but they're really, really good band, and that's going to be an absolute riot. And of course, I interviewed Evan for the Razor's Edge recently, and that was an absolute pleasure. That was so cool. So it'd be nice to cap off that experience and see the band live at Bloodstock. Municipal Waste are back at last. They've not played in, ages, 2017, 18 maybe, when they last played? And they went for a crowd surf record back then, and I think they achieved it, but it's been since broken again. Let's see if them and Party Cannon have a bit of a go at it trying to break the same record. That'll be a lot of fun. Municipal Waste are just ridiculous live. They're one of the kings of crossover thrash. They've got such good songs and just an absolute riot. I keep saying the word riot today. They're an absolute blast live, so much fun, and if for nothing else, directly after them is the band announcement for 2027, so catch the second half of Municipal Waste at the very least. Contrary to a lot of people who've been moaning about this online, Sepultura coming back again is fantastic. I know people assumed that their last show at Bloodstock was going to be their final UK appearance. Now, allegedly, it's this one, so they're kind of doing one of those very elongated farewell tours, but you know what, I can't really complain with this because Sepultura completely blew me away last time at Bloodstock. I enjoy Sepultura for sure. They've got some incredible albums, obviously, and I actually do like their modern era as well. You know, they're not a band that I was going, oh, I desperately need to see them, but then their performance was incredible, and now I get to see it again, so I cannot wait. I query why they're not headlining, I'm going to be honest, but it doesn't matter. Sub-headline, we'll take it. That's going to be an awesome show and a perfect setup for our next headliner. Lamb of God are back once again. I worry people are going to start accusing Bloodstock of doing a download now, and we're getting a lot of recycled headliners because both Lamb of God and our Sunday headliner have both headlined several times and relatively recently. But apparently next year there's a lot of new stuff going on, so we don't need to worry about that, I suppose. But anyway, doesn't matter. Lamb of God, hell yeah. Come on, of course, they're always phenomenal live. Their new album, I really, really enjoyed it, more than I enjoyed the new logo. But yeah, so their last set was incredible, absolutely loved it. It was the highlight of 2022 for sure. The problem was it was a very hits-focused set, and I'm worried we're going to get more or less the same thing again here. Maybe like a few deep cuts thrown in there. Obviously, you're going to have your Redneck and your Later Rests and Walk With Me in Hell and all that, but not a full hit set list is what I would personally prefer. That might be wishful thinking. But to have a band come back so soon, I would hope they'd mix up the set list a little bit. But we'll see. But either way, these songs that Lamb of God have in their back catalogue just can't be beaten at a festival. It's going to be absolutely incredible and a brilliant way to round off Friday night. And moving on to the Sophie stage, my first band that I'm really excited for, Blood Countess. I mean, obviously, furious black metal. You know, what more could I possibly want? That's going to be absolutely brilliant. Do they clash with anyone? A little bit of clash with Party Cannon. I can live with that. That's fine. I'll see Blood Countess and then the rest of Party Cannon, I think. Next up for me that I want to see is Sellsword. If you are into your power metal, your UK power metal, and somehow haven't heard these guys yet, I don't know what you've been doing, because these guys have been around for quite a long time, constantly, persistently trying to push into the next level and get to, like, you know, your levels of Battleborn or Fellowship kind of thing. Because Sellsword are really, really good, really, really solid band. I hope they bring their trebuchets to this show, because that's always an absolute riot. I think, well, I know because the Clash Finder's up. They clash with the back end of Skinned, so I'll probably only see the second half of Sellsword. I've seen them several times, but definitely go, if you want some power metal on your Friday, definitely go catch Sellsword. They're well worth your time. Excrementory Grind fuckers. They're kind of I think they're like a parody extreme band. They're from Germany. So with a name like that, I was expecting like some brutal death metal. They are extreme, but they're kind of extreme in the way that I think they're trying to take the piss, if their bio is anything to go by. But it's kind of weird, but it's kind of entertaining as well. So let's see, do they clash with anyone? You're a little bit of Biohazard. I might catch the beginning of this. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. It could be something a little bit different if you're sick of all the extreme metal. Let's see, who next? Oh, I heartily recommend Shining. Allegedly, they're playing Black Jazz in full. That is awesome. That album is absolutely brilliant. If you don't know Shining, it's not The Shining or the other band Shining. This is Shining with saxophone in it and a lot of noise. Yeah, but the Black Jazz album is absolutely brilliant. It's just chaos. It's magnificent. They did it with Isan a few years ago, if you're interested. So that's going to be a real like special opportunity. I might be missing it though, because they're clashing with someone I really want to see on the EMP stage, but we'll get to that in a minute. But if you don't have anything going on during Shining, I heartily recommend you go see this one. Never really cared for Wednesday 13, it's just not really my thing, but I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun after Lamb of God. Okay, cool. So the New Blood bands. So, like every year, I check out as many of these as I can ahead of time. The standard this year, once again, is absolutely fantastic. So, go check out as many of them as you can. I'm just going to quickly go through ones that I'm excited for and I heartily recommend you check out. But definitely check out as many New Blood bands as you get the opportunity to. It's always well worth doing. Cool. So, on the Friday, starting us off, Void Below. Epic Death Doom, gets fast at points, it gets slow at points, and it's just heavy as shit. Love it. Regicide, fucking awesome. They call it thrash groove on the website. It is quite thrashy, but there's also a lot of dynamics going on, and there's little bit of atmosphere to it as well. Resist Control, the song, this is all I really know, but I really, really, really enjoyed it. Definitely going to check those guys out if I can. I should be keeping an eye on clashes, shouldn't I? Void Below, that's fine. Regicide, ooh, Clash of a Party Cannon. I'm probably going to see Regicide. Moving on. Who else? Carrier, deliciously entertaining metal / deathcore. If you know you like that kind of thing, these guys are a blast. Redeemon is, I guess it's like ska metal. I guess. It's also it's like ridiculously heavy metal, but they got like brass instruments in there as well, kind of like a ska punk kind of thing, but much heavier than that. Very hard to describe. Maybe going blind, maybe that's the way to do it. But this might not be one you want to miss if you wanted to see something really, really different. It should be really, really fun. I heartily recommend Concrete Age. Oh, absolutely brilliant. If you yearn for the days of Bloodstock having more folk-inspired stuff on there, do not miss Concrete Age. They call themselves like ethnic metal, I think. So there's lots of traditional instruments weaved in with furiously heavy metal. It's just beautiful. I love it. These guys are right near the top of my list on the Friday for sure. Ataka, awesome melodeath that also doesn't shirk the melodic side, and fantastic vocal work. And lastly on that day, Martyr Saint. Now, I'm fully going to own my bias here. Martyr Saint won the Bristol Metal to the Masses this year, which of course I follow closely every single year. I've interviewed them on the channel before the final if you want to go check that out. Awesome band. Just fantastic. Brilliant guys. So passionate. So hardworking. And it's like crossover thrash, and the energy that they put out on stage is as energetic as the music itself. Absolutely brilliant. There better be some spinning circle pits for this one. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I'm so happy for those guys. It's going to be awesome, and to see them quite high up in the day as well. Hopefully they'll have a fantastic turnout. And on the EMP stage for Friday, I have one recommendation above all others, and it's potentially one of my most anticipated bands of the entire weekend, Vanitas, closing out the EMP stage on the Friday. I adore this band. Again, I've met them, I've interviewed them on the channel if you want to watch it. It's like epic, symphonic, genty, proggy, heavy metal. They draw a lot from like video game soundtracks, but by that I mean like epic video game soundtracks like Final Fantasy, Dark Souls, that kind of thing. And of course Vanitas is named after a character from Kingdom Hearts, and I am somewhat of a fan of Kingdom Hearts, obviously. This clashes right in the middle with Shining, playing Black Jazz in full, so I'm gutted about that, but I just love Vanitas so much. I've only seen them once before, but I've listened to their EP so many times recently. I cannot get enough of it, so I'll be gutted about Shining, but I just can't miss Vanitas. They're absolutely fantastic. Cool. Moving on now to Saturday. Back up to the main stage. Just gonna have a swig of non-product placement soft drink. First up for me on the Saturday main stage is Imperial Age. Now, I don't know if you've heard of them. They are a epic power metal band. I believe some of their members used to live in Russia, but they've all since moved to the UK, got citizenship and all that because they wanted to get away from all the stuff going on over there. They've done a lot of crowdfunding and a lot of requesting their fans to help them get this project off the ground monetarily, but they have made good on lots of pre-order bonuses and crowdfunding bonuses and whatnot, and they give their fans a lot back for the support, not like Winter Sun. So I'm not going to say that this is like my favourite power metal band that are playing the festival, but I have all the support in the world for this band doing what they're trying to do to get this project where they want it to be. And so I'm going to definitely check them out for that reason alone. I think they deserve a really, really good turnout. Moving on a bit, Urn are back. You've got to go see Urn if you haven't seen them before. Awesome modern metal, and it's so heavy and monolithic and monstrous. Just brilliant. And if you don't check them out at Bloodstock, you can maybe check them out with my mates in Moonreaper later this year. Vended, I'm going to check out for morbid curiosity. You might have seen my video on their debut album that came out, like 2 years ago now, I think. I was trying to parcel, is their music actually good? Because obviously they have to follow around the nepotism tag everywhere they go. I figured, is that fair? Are they actually a good band? And their first album, it wasn't amazing, but it was good enough. I enjoyed it. It reminded me of that classic nu metal stuff that I don't think a lot of bands have really been able to emulate post Slipknot. I haven't heard any of their new stuff since that album, so I don't know, maybe it was a one-off. But essentially, I think they've played the pedigree card now. You can't play it again. So the fact that they're back and they're still going, I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of following they might have accrued, how they're still going at it. Are they still... have they managed to find their own path, basically, or are they still riding the coattails, potentially, of who they're related to? So this will be an interesting one, I think. I'm intrigued to see what their turnout is like and how much the crowd are into it. And, their kids having fun at the end of the day. So, fair enough. Next up for me, Bleed From Within. Absolute savagery. Their last album was phenomenal. It just missed out on my top albums of last year, and it's so cool to see a Scottish band from just rising up these festival lists these days. And there's that part of metalcore which I actually really, really, really like. Cannot wait for this. There's been a lot of buzz about them recently, so fantastic booking. Cannot wait to see that. Moving on to the Sophie stage on that day. Starting things off, my boys, Froglord. Hell yes, I am super fucking happy for these guys. They've been asked back to Bloodstock because they are so good. If you haven't heard them, you could probably infer by the name. It's like a stoner, sludgy, doomy kind of thing, all about frogs, wacky costumes, dark aesthetic, a ritual vibe to it, like a cult of frog. It's just so good, and check out their music videos as well because they're hilarious. And they're just the nicest guys you could ever meet. They're just brilliant. I'm so stoked that these guys have come back. I'm so happy to see them getting a lot of success, and this is going to be a really special moment to see them opening up the Sophie stage. They're right at the beginning of the day, but for God's sake, crawl out of your tent and see them. They're absolutely fantastic. Next up, immediately after them, Outer Gods are awesome. Epic extreme metal band, massive scope, also really, really fucking heavy. What more could you want? Similar vein, obviously, Imperium, crushing riffs, ridiculous grooves, just really, really uncompromising and brilliant. Stamping Ground, not a band I know too well, but they are very important to UK hardcore. They've been around, I think, since the mid 90s or something. Surprisingly low down the bill, I must say, but they're a big deal in the scene that they come from, so that might be worth checking out as well. And then one of the most bizarre placements ever seen at Bloodstock. I believe it's for logistical reasons, but anyway, Death Angel are playing on the Sophie stage, 3 down from the bottom, 3 down from the top. That is bizarre. I'm pretty sure they played the main stage but last time, but whatever. It's a chance to see Death Angel in a slightly smaller space, so it's going to get rammed in there before that starts, but if you can get in, obviously go see Death Angel. They are absolutely incredible. Following on from them, one of the best shake-ups in Bloodstock history, where we lost a certain band and gained, and I'm definitely going to say this name wrong, Sanguis Sugarbog. Not a clue if that's correct, but man, what a booking! I did not see this coming at all, but I'm super fucking excited for this. Just a legendary band. They're playing, I believe, they just start towards the end of Bleed From Within, so that tent's going to absolutely be bursting at the seams for that. It's going to be Death Angel, then Sanguis Sugar Bob. Fantastic. That's such a brilliant booking. In fact, these next 3 bands back to back, Death Angel, Sanguis Sugar Bog, and Leprous, are headlining the Saturday Sophie stage. This band have come so far. I saw them open for Devin Townsend at the Royal Albert Hall a few years ago, and they were really, really good. They didn't blow my mind, but I thought they were really good. I remembered them fondly, so when they played Arctangent last year, I thought, wow, I remember liking them, I'm going to go see them, and my god, their Arctangent show was stunning. Absolutely stunning. It looked like a headline show, and they were nowhere near headlining. It was bonkers. So this is fucking insane. I don't know how big their production can be on the Sophie stage as opposed to an Arctangent main stage, but if it's even half as big, this is going to be a ridiculous Sophie band headliner, gunning to be the Sophie headliner of the entire weekend for my money. Go see Leprous, they're absolutely brilliant. Cool, so New Blood for the Saturday. Up first, Thrasher Wolf. It's just, there's so many bands these days that are trying to sound like classic thrash, and although a lot of them are good, you can still tell they have a bit of a modern edge. Thrasher Wolf sound like they were pulled straight from the 80s. It's remarkable. These guys have just nailed that classic thrash sound, so that should tell you everything you need to know if you want to go see them. They have been getting a lot of buzz, so definitely want to go join in that carnage if you can. I'm pretty sure they clash with Froglord, so I'll obviously be at Froglord's, but if you want thrash instead of sludge, Thrasher Wolf are just perfect for that. A couple bands up, Vampira. It's like a gothic-y punk horror kind of thing. It's not going to be to everyone's taste, but I kind of quite enjoy that kind of thing. And my old band, Smilemore, we would have had a huge field day checking these guys out and begging them to take us on tour with them, because it's, similar sort of vibe kind of thing. So this should be a lot of fun, if nothing else. Definitely going to try and catch these guys if I get the chance. Clash of Imperial Age, we'll have to see about that. I'll definitely keep them in mind if I see them coming through the country again. Apophis immediately after, obnoxiously heavy, like metalcore / deathcore. There's been a lot of that this year, but yeah, Apophis are another one of those, and they're just obnoxious and heavy and brilliant, so definitely see those guys if you want. Withdrawn, quite a bit further up. Again, probably not going to be to everyone's cup of tea. It's that kind of quite anthemic alternative metal kind of thing, but they've got I think they use quite a few of the band do vocals. All their vocals sound really, really good. I've literally only checked out their live footage that they've got on the Bloodstock website, and I quite liked it. I liked it quite a bit. So I want to see and try and support these guys if I can. Imperial Demonic. Melodic black metal. I mean, what more could you want from that? It's on the New Blood of all things as well. I hope they bring a ridiculous as much set as they can fit within those notoriously fast changeovers, but it's going to be awesome. Melodic black metal, corpse paints, ritual vibes, epic heavy weightiness, just perfection. Cannot wait for that. And then on the EMP stage for the Saturday, I heartily recommend Goat Major. Now, a certain other Doom band that are playing the following day are getting a lot of the press as far as Doom bands go this weekend, and for good reason, because that artist is also amazing. But don't miss Goat Major. It's like culty Doom kind of thing, very straight and to the point, but definitely scratches that very specific itch if you're looking for it, and it's going to be on the EMP stage. It's going to be nice and intimate, so definitely go check those guys out if you can. Cool, moving on to the last day on the main stage. first up for me, obviously go see Castle Rat. I mean, why wouldn't you go see Castle Rat at this point? They are just blowing up right now. It's almost baffling that they're slow down on the main stage, I must say. But you know, like fantasy doom kind of just monolithic magnificence is going to be awesome, and this band are going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you definitely don't want to miss this, seeing them at this level, because they're only going to get bigger from here. So that's going to be awesome. Don't miss Castle Rat. Following after that, Kitty. Obviously, go see Kitty. Awesome to see those guys come back around. Sort of like a big comeback. They're one of those bands that should have been far bigger than they were when the time they started off. Great to see them back and kicking ass. Orbit Culture. Hell yeah. Massive, epic, heavy metal. I mean, it's the perfect name, Orbit Culture. They're just enormous. Cannot wait for this one. My hairs are gonna stand on end with this one. Testament, for the love of all that's good and holy, go see Testament. You probably already are, because it's Testament. I know they play Bloodstock fairly regularly, but for good reason. They're just brilliant. They're one of those thrash metal bands from the old days, but their new output puts a lot of their contemporaries to shame, because they've so brilliantly managed to adapt their sound, like, subtly to where metal has gone since those classic days, and they just nail it every single time. And live, they're absolutely fantastic, especially at Bloodstock. So this is going to be another awesome Testament show, I guarantee it. And then the legendary Body Count have finally been booked for Bloodstock. I mean, they said it would happen one day, but we all kind of thought for the meme it never would. It's finally happened. Ice-T and co are playing Bloodstock. It's not completely my kind of thing, but what I have heard from Body Count, I do know is absurdly heavy, very pointed, very passionate. So this is going to be a really, really cool live show. If the sound is good, this is going to be, for a lot of people, I would imagine, one of the highlights of the entire weekend. So it's been a long time coming. I hope they stick the landing. I'm sure they will. This is going to be a big moment, I'm sure. And then closing us out on the main stage, the mighty Judas Priest are back once again. I know, again, what I said when I spoke about Lamb of God, this kind of feels like a bit of a repeat, but also you can't really complain because it's Judas fucking Priest. Like Testament, to me, they're one of those classic bands that have brilliantly managed to adapt to the modern day. The last few Judas Priest albums have been nothing short of brilliant. Invincible Shield, Firepower, both incredible, like 8, 9, 10 out of 10 albums, absolutely brilliant. I love their new stuff so much, and I love that they actually include it in their set list alongside all their hits, because man, they've got so many hits. Even when they did their 2-hour show at Bloodstock a few years ago, they couldn't fit everything in, so they did a load of deep cuts, and that was an incredible show. This, I presume, is off the Invincible Shield tour, or off the, like, that album cycle. So hopefully we get a few songs from that album, because I really, really like it, with a smattering of all the classics as well. We shall have to wait and see, but you know, you can't really argue with Judas Priest set. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I hope they're on for ages. Does the Clash find to say how long they're on? Allegedly the same length as the other headliners. I mean, that's a bit disappointing. I'd have liked them to push the boat a little bit, but I'm not going to complain. Judas Priest, closing the main stage. What more could you want? Sophie Stage. I'll be frank, I don't know many of the bands on this day in particular. There's a couple. Aluna, I think is how they're pronounced. Really cool, like hard-hitting riff-filled rock/metal kind of thing. They've been around, I think, a little while, but as I say, very riff-focused, very, very cool. I heartily recommend. Thrown into Exile. I'm pretty sure they've played the fest before, maybe a while ago, but I really like these guys. Again, it's big, massive scope kind of heavy metal, which is right up my street, so don't miss those guys as well. And then Mushroom Head are playing. I never thought I'd get to see Mushroom Head. Let's see who they're clashing with. Am I in trouble? No, I reckon I'll be alright. So yeah, Mushroom Head. Yeah. I don't know what to think about Mushroom Head, to be honest. The live shows of them I've seen on the internet, their shows look very, I don't want to say choreographed, but they look very choreographed. They almost look like a performance franchise band, and I truly don't mean that as a slight. I really don't. But it almost feels like a show rather than a gig, if you know what I mean. But that still could be really, really fun. I know bugger all songs by Mushroom Head. I think I know about two, but if they throw all the kitchen sinks at giving a big live show, who knows? Maybe I'll enjoy it anyway. I'm very, very intrigued by this one, so I'll let you know how it goes. And then after that, 200 stab wounds. Much easier to explain. Just brilliant. Just savagely epic, heavy, ridiculous, brutal, awesome. Yeah. What a band to follow Mushroom Head, I must say. And what a band to play before the last band of the festival, Carpenter Brut. Probably pronouncing that wrong. I know bugger all about this band. I do know that it's a massive wildcard, not just for Bloodstock, but for the final band of Bloodstock. Apparently it's going to be like a blood rave kind of thing. They've got cool visuals from what I gather. I know nothing about this kind of thing. This is not my remit of music at all, but don't worry, I'm not going to start whinging that, oh, why is this fucking band closing the festival? It's fine. Bloodstock like to do this every now and then. Add something a little bit different for a little bit of flavour, a little bit of variety. Yeah, why not? A blood rave-ish kind of band headlining at the end of the night. Why the hell not? Maybe I wouldn't have put it on the last day. Maybe I wanted something a bit more typical to really see us out. But hey, I've got Judas Priest for that, so that's fine. Let me know if you're excited for Carpenter Brut. I've seen a lot of people quite excited for it. Let me know if I should check it out. Okay, so the Sunday New Blood bands. There's some really good ones today. So Ka-Aper, Jesus Christ, how do you pronounce that? K-A-apostrophe-A-P-E-R. This is magnificent stuff. It's proggy, extreme metal kind of thing. Their new album, I forget the name of it now, but I have heard it. It's brilliant. It's so good. I hope they play plenty of it on Sunday. Yeah, awesome. Definitely check these guys out if you can. One of the more unique bands playing across the entire weekend this year is Chekhov's Gun. I believe they clash, which is going to be difficult. Yeah, they clash with Castle Rats. Oh, that's not a good clash. Chekhov's Gun are really, really interesting, so hear me out. So it's kind of like that creepy classical metal, like evil classical metal kind of vibe, with classical instrumentation. I believe they have a celloist and a violinist on stage, I think, providing, so it's like back and forth between heavy metal, but with some very eerie classical, creepy classical undertones in there as well. It's super unique, really interesting, and I think they're like fronted by a ballerina dancer or something, or a ballroom dancer, I'm not sure, something in that vein. I think this is going to be really creepy, but in a great way. So I might have to flip a coin if it's Castle Rat or Chekhov's Gun, to be honest, because I'm so intrigued by this one. Following on from them, Joakim, Joakem. Then, and funnily enough, the band immediately after them, Technologist. They both fit a similar vibe to me. Technical, but epic, heavy metal. It verges on the prog side of things, obviously. So they're both really, really cool. Would hardly recommend that if you want something very high attention span. I don't mean that, obviously. But my last main New Blood band that I'm really excited for, Death Brigade. Again, with the black metal, black and death metal they call themselves. It veers more towards the black, I would say. And when it says death metal, it's more the stompy death metal, I guess. But yes, I love this kind of thing, especially at Bloodstock. I'm always getting wary as to how fewer and fewer black metal bands seem to be appearing. So to see, but the New Blood always has you covered. There's some power metal, there's some folk metal, there's plenty of thrash, there's some death metal, there's some gothic rock, and there's some black metal as well. And closing it off with Death Brigade, that's going to be really, really fun. Cannot wait to see that. But as I'll stress again, I've barely scratched the surface there with New Blood. Make sure you check out as many of these as you can. There's something for everyone there. They get to play Bloodstock for a reason, so definitely go check them out. And then on the EMP, I've done one of these each day, so I'll stick to that now. The last band playing the EMP on the Sunday, Aethera, what is with these bloody names? Aethoria. It's a alternative hard rock band. Again, not going to be for everyone at Bloodstock, but it's right up my street. It's big, it's soaring, great vocals, very majestic, and it's the kind of thing I really, really like. So, one last look at the Clash Finder. Oh, during 200 stab wounds, damn it. We'll see where I go on that day. But there you go. There's all the bands that I recommend you check out at Bloodstock. Obviously, I can't possibly go to all of those because there's a load of clashes, but that should give you a little bit of insight as to the kind of things that I'm looking forward to. And if you think your taste potentially coincides with mine, maybe you might want to take some of those notes to heart, but go listen to whatever the hell you want, obviously. Don't listen to me. Go do what you want to do. This is just for fun. And yeah, so that about wraps up my pre-Bloodstock content just in the nick of time for this year. Bloodstock is now any day now. And I used to say this as a joke back many, many years ago, but if you see me at Bloodstock, come say hello. But lo and behold, the last few years, plenty of people have actually come up to me to say they enjoy what we do, which is absolutely bonkers. Thank you so incredibly much. You have no idea. So, but I also get people commenting, going, "Oh, I saw you, but you had a drink or something, or you were talking to someone. I didn't want to come up and bother you." It's like, don't worry about it. Come say hey. I absolutely love it. You have no idea. And I'm going solo this year, so you won't have to worry about me being engaged in a conversation. Feel free to come and say hey, and even buy me a beer if you want, though you don't have to. I wouldn't say no. Cool, so comment down below if you like about all the bands that I've missed that you think I would enjoy, but also let me know who you want to see at this year's Bloodstock as well. It's another great year to come, I'm sure. So thank you all for watching. Get excited for Bloodstock if you are going. Have an amazing time, I'm sure you will. Go listen to some amazing heavy metal in the meantime. And I'll see you in the next video.